Hello everyone and welcome back to the Car Code channel. My name's Sam and if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so that would really help. This is the Toyota Yaris Cross and it's a small hybrid automatic crossover from Toyota. Toyota already has the CHR and also the RAV4, and this is the smallest SUV in their range, apart from the new Igo X that comes out next year. Pricing for the Yaris Cross starts from £22,515 for the base Icon model. This model here is one of the top end of the range XL models, and that starts from £26,745, which is quite pricey. So if you think the Yaris Cross looks familiar, that will be because it is based on the smaller Yaris, as well as taking lots of styling cues from the bigger RAV4, such as these square wheel arches and black cladding all along here, as well as the 5-door body design. The CHR has hidden rear door handles and a more of a coupe shape. This car has gone more for that chunky SUV feel, and it can also be available in all-wheel drive if that's what you want as well. The front headlights are LED as standard, and I have to say they look really smart, really chunky as well. I really like the face of this car as well. It is quite fun, quite chunky SUV-like car. I think the reason they've chose the Yaris Cross is to make it a familiar car and for people to see it as a Yaris product, know that it's high quality and something that they might want to opt for. This car here is fitted with the 18-inch alloy wheels, which are the biggest wheel that you can get. That means its ride is a bit firmer, but nothing too bad. Personally, I'd go for the mid-range 17-inch alloy wheels that you get on the design models. Icons get 16 inches, which look a little bit small for the car. So the Yaris Cross actually has some quite nice colour options. As standard, you get white paint, which is free. You can get an urban blue, which is sort of a light cornflower blue for £250, and metallic paints range from £585 to £880. Which is quite expensive. So let's have a look inside Toyota's smallest SUV. So we're inside the Yaris Cross XL now, and it's got this very 2021 brown interior, which is quite nice, and it makes the cabin feel a lot warmer as well. At the moment on the website, all models above Icon seem to have a dark headlining, but this one here is an XL and it has a lighter headlining, which I really like. So just make sure of your dealership if that is something that you'd like. So these are the XL seats, like I say, and these don't actually have an integrated headrest, it just has that sort of look. The only issue I have with them is they are sit at quite a strange angle, so your head does that a little bit, but whilst you're driving that shouldn't be much of a problem, especially if you're taller. This is the big 9-inch system as well on this car. It can feel a little bit laggy compared to other systems, but it's good that you've got these buttons on the side just to go to each menu. It's not as simple as to use as a Nissan system or a Volkswagen system, and that's a bit of a shame really, because it does feel a little bit cheap, but Toyota's always been a bit behind with their infotainment systems. It's a much better improvement than when they used to have ones down here with no buttons, and I also really like the fact that you've got climate control buttons as well as standard, making it much easier to control whilst you're driving. As standard, this car comes with a leather wrapped steering wheel, making it feel really nice, and it is very nice and matte as well. All the controls feel really nice to press. You've also got adaptive cruise control on XL and above as well. If the new dark headlining is a thing that's going to be put in place, you're probably going to want a sunroof. The thing is, you have to pay £330 for a sunroof, which isn't too bad, but the annoying thing is you've got to be on XL models or above to get the sunroof. So you can see a general pattern going on here. Toyota's been a bit more stingy with the options on this compared to Hyundai and Ford, where they give more options as standard. On this car, you've got to get packs for certain options and certain things, but a sunroof would be really nice in this car to have. With the light headlining, like I say, it's not too bad, but if you did have a dark headlining, you definitely want the £330 sunroof option. So this car can be fitted with a really good JBL sound system, but that comes standard on the £28,000 Premier Edition car, and that is a very expensive car for a small SUV. That brings me on to some annoying things about this car. So the first annoying thing about this car is that you can only get it in automatic transmission. That is a bit annoying if you want to have fun changing gears. If you do want to do that, you can get that in the Ford Puma or Hyundai Bayon that are all optional with mild hybrid systems. So you're still getting your hybrid, but you're also getting your fun with your gears. Like I say before, the headrests sit at a very strange angle. Even if I move the seat back a slight bit, then that's weird. Then the headrest is straight, but then I'm leaned back. So it's a very strange thing really. If I move the seat all the way up, it has got really good adjustments, so that's a good thing about it. But like I say, the headrests are a bit of an encroaching angle. So if I move this up to upright position, how I would sit, I'd probably sit about that. It's not so good, especially if you're in a crash. That's not good for your neck. Another thing that I'm not a big fan of is the quality of the interior. Now these fabrics feel really squidgy and really nice. This is fine too, it's a bit scratchy but not too bad. The screen, however, is a bit creaky and stuff, and also the headlining, you can see it's the fuzzy texture one. You can see it's already wearing away there at the corner, so I'm not sure how well that will last. Another con is the paintwork options. Now there's a really nice brass metallic option inside the showroom, but you have to be on dynamic and above to get that option. You can't even get it on this one here, which is a near top of the range model, and that's really a shame. As well, the metallic options are expensive too. But let's move on to the positives of the Toyota Yaris Cross. So the positives of this car, one of them is the economy on this car. You'll easily get 50 miles per gallon and even more. Some people have got up to 60 miles per gallon as well, and that is really good. Of course you've got automatic, but if you don't mind that and just pootling around town, it's a perfect car for that. So this car also has an EV only mode. It should be in totally electric mode, which feels very strange. I have never driven an electric car before, but it's quite nice that you have the option of that. It just feels quite strange to have it completely silent, and you've got that instant acceleration as well. As soon as you take your foot off the brake, you can feel it start moving, and it does move quite fast. It's a very strange sensation, I've got to say that. All I can say is when I was in it as a passenger is that the wheels were a bit firm, but that's because of the 18-inch alloy wheels, but they weren't anything too majorly bad. So I'd go for the 17, so you get the look and also the ride quality. And considering that it does have that electric mode, it is a relatively lightweight car. The heaviest one is still under 1,300 kilograms, so it's lighter than a Volkswagen Golf. So you've also got this 360 very Nissan-esque parking system as well, which is really good to have. You don't even have to look behind you if you don't want. We can see that our tripod's there, so just to watch out for that. And it's really strange and useful to have. It's a shame they haven't matched the paint colour. It's a very easy thing to do in software, and they've got this box around it, but it's still a useful thing to have as well. The brakes, what I can say is they are very sharp, and that's a very aggressive beeping for how far away we are. So safety in this car is really, really decent. Euro NCAP give this car a 5-star safety rating as standard, which is great. That is because of its automatic emergency braking on every single trim level as standard, and that's really good that Toyota has done this. On this car you've also got lane assist and adaptive cruise control, which is a really nice features to have, and I think that's really good that they've gone without safety packs and just spec'd it really safe at base level. The standard safety is much better than that in the Hyundai Bayon or even in the Peugeot 2008, which both scored 4 stars with their standard safety equipment. Click in the pop-out banner to watch the Hyundai Bayon review that I've done. I've also done a Peugeot 2008 review and watch that on my channel as well. This is the 1.5 litre 116 horsepower engine, and that is the engine that's available on every single car, as well as the automatic transmission. You don't have any choice really, apart from whether if you want all-wheel drive or just two-wheel drive. There's not much need for all-wheel drive nowadays. This will do pretty well with cross-climate tyres on. You'll be fine in most weather conditions really. But maybe if you're downsizing for something like a RAV4 and you did still want 4x4 in the winter or something like that, it's good to have that option. It costs around £2,000 extra, but there's not many cars in this segment that have that option in the first place. So with the design, this is where the Yaris Cross really starts to look a bit more Yaris-like, with the rear lights are extremely similar to that on the smaller Yaris. This car here is fitted with the electric tailgate, and this is on higher models only. But it's a really nice thing to have. It makes it feel a bit more premium. This has also got the SUV pack, which means it's got this Yaris Cross protection thing here, and then things to protect the back of the seats as well, which is really nice to have. The boot size itself is okay, but it's not as good as some rivals like the Peugeot 2008. That car has 434 litres. This one, 390, is just above, say, Citroen C4 or Volkswagen Golf, which both have 380 litres. So if that puts it into a bit of perspective to you, it's more like a small family car boot. So the cool thing about this parcel shelf in this car is look how thin it is. Now you may think this is flimsy, but most people don't really put anything on, it's just to hide things. And that makes it really easy to actually just stow it away instead of it being an annoying piece of plastic. So when you do this, it actually simply folds up like this. So easy, and you can just pop it in the side. It's got a special place for it to go there, and it's completely away then, and you don't have to worry about it at all. It's not big or anything, and also it saves a lot of weight in the car if you think about it. A parcel shelf is probably a few more kilos than this, so it's just really good, and I hope more manufacturers make little fun changes like this. So putting it back on isn't too hard either. I mean, I've got wet and cold hands, and you can just simply put them back on. The hooks are slightly different, but how smart is that? So a good thing about this car is it has got the rear doors, and they're not hidden door handles. That means it's not as sporty as the CHR, but obviously it's more practical because people can easily get in there. The doors don't open very wide, not as much as the Peugeot 2008 or Volkswagen T-Cross, and that is a bit unfortunate if you're trying to get child seats in. That is actually extremely tight there to do that. That could be an issue if you have got kids to put them in. Inside the back, you definitely feel like it's a smaller car in here, really. You've got quite enough knee room and quite a lot of headroom as well, but it's not as big as a Peugeot 2008 or Volkswagen T-Cross, but big enough for most people. Because these headrests aren't integrated and the seats aren't too wide, you do get a good view out, and that's good. And you also have these rear pockets, so that's a nice thing to have as well. Oh, no rear armrest in this car, unfortunately, and that's annoying because if you're paying £26,000 for a car, you want your backseat passengers to be comfy as well. It has got flat headrests in the back, meaning it's quite comfortable, and people will be quite happy at the back of here. Let's have a look about what it's like when I shut the door. So in the back here, the windows go all the way down, which is really good. You still have this little porta light here, but it's okay, and you can still get plenty of fresh air in here. And I think kids will be all right with this. It is quite high up, and I have to say, if I was smaller, I would not be a fan of this, but as long as they've got booster seats, they'll be fine in the back of here. It is a shame that there is no armrest. So what is my conclusion on the Yaris Cross? Well, I think the Yaris Cross is a funky small SUV that would be perfect if you're thinking of downsizing from a bigger car to a smaller car and just go around town or in the city. I think this car is perfect for all of those things. If you do want a more fun sort of sporty car for the country roads, maybe this one is not for you. I'd go for the design model personally, because I think these models are very expensive. Going all the way up over £28,000 is quite an expensive car for this size, and you could get something in the next category like the Nissan Qashqai or even Volkswagen Tiguan. But I can see the appeal of these small SUVs. Thanks so much for watching this video, and make sure to put questions down below in the comments. See you in the next one.